Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Yves Kipondo. In today's video, I'm going to cover how to configure and set up an SFTP server on Red Hat Enterprise Linux through the power of Ansible. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future content which I'll post on this channel. With all that being said, let's get into it. As you can see on my screen, I'm already connected on my control node. I'll start by creating a directory which will contain all my files to set up my node as an SFTP server. So I'll create a directory, so I'll do mkdir configure SFTP, and I will open that directory. And here I will create a file which will contain Ansible configuration. So I'll do vim ansible.cfg, and here we will have two sections, the default section and the privilege escalation section. So on the default section, I will specify the inventory file. So inventory will be equal to the inventory file in the same directory, and the remote user which we'll use will be Ansible, remote user Ansible. And I will enable host key checking equal to true. And here on the privilege escalation section, I will specify become equal to true, and become user will be root. Become user equal root. Become method is sudo, and become ask pass equal to false. So password will not be asked as we execute each task. Write and execute and exit. I will create also the inventory file. So if you have been watching on my previous video, I've already set up an environment with 5 nodes. So you can go and check that video on my channel or the playlist which I link onto this video. So here I'll create an entry which will be node, and I will specify all my 5 nodes, 5.local.dev, and here I will specify a group SFTP which will contain the server on which I will set up my node. So I'll use the node2.local.dev, write and exit. And if I want to test if I'm able to reach all my 5 nodes with Ansible ad hoc command, say all dash the module which I'll use will be ping. As you can see on my screen, I'm able to reach all my 5 nodes, and as everything is good, I can now start writing my playbook. So I'll do ls-l and create a playbook vim configure sftp.yml. So here, as you know, all playbook must start with 3-, and after that, I will specify the name of my playbook, which will be configure SFTP server using Ansible. And the second entry in my playbook will be the host or the target on which that configuration will be performed. And here it will be the group which I create in my inventory file, which is SFTP. And after that, I will create the list of tasks which will be executed on my managed node. So here it will be tasks. And then I will start creating my list of tasks. Actually, on this configuration, I will have 2 sets of groups which will allow me to manage user on my SFTP server. One group will be the group which has read and write access, and the other group will only have read-only access. So I will go and create those groups. So I'll start with the name, create SFTP group, and here I'll add RWW for read write access, and I'll create the same the same group, the same task with RO for read only. And the module which I'll use will be Ansible built-in dot group. And I'll do the same here, built-in dot group. So as I've already know that I will have to repeat some of the variables or some of the words which I'll use in this configuration file, I will start by creating variable in my head of this playbook. So here I'll create a section vars, and I'll create two variables for the group of read only and the group of read write. So I'll create SFTP group or SFTP group read only name, which will be, in my case, I will use SFTP user RO for read only. And for the read write, I will change here, it will be RW, and here it will be RW. So read only and read write. So here we have already specified the module, and the first argument to that module is the name of the group which I want to create, which will be the variable which I will define in my head section of the playbook. This is read write name, and state will be equal to present. I'll copy that and repeat it here again. I'll replace with so I'll do read write with RO. Okay, and the state will be again present. So that will be all for the group. So I have one group with read permission and the other one with only have read only permission. So after that, the next step, so I'll just go and execute this playbook to see if it creates those groups correctly. So I'll do Ansible playbook configure SFTP. As I've already tested the connection to my managed node, I'm sure that it will succeed. As you can see here, the two groups have been created, and I can use the ad hoc command Ansible SFTP, and as argument by default is the command module which will be executed, and I will do grep with SFTP. So just grep SFTP in etc group. As you can see, I have the two group created, which is SFTP reader and SFTP read only. And the next step will be to create a task which will create the user which will belong to the SFTP and SFTP read only and SFTP read write. So I'll go and edit again my playbook. So before creating the user, I will have to create the directory which will hold all my SFTP server files. So I'll go here and create another task which will be name create SFTP user data directory. And the name of that directory, I will put it as a root path, and the name of that directory will be data. So I will use the ansible.builtin file module, and here I'll specify the path, which will be equal to /data, and the state will be equal to directory. And this group will belong to the user, or will belong to the user which will have read-write permission. So I'll go here and add group equal to SFTP group read-write name. As when you are configuring SFTP and you want to do servers to chroot the user, you will have to specify the main root or the main file, the main directory where user are redirected to as owned by the root user, and the group can be anything which you want. In my case, I will add that group as the SFTP read write group, and that will be all. And I'll just write and exit. And I will again execute my playbook, configure playbook. Ansible. So it's waiting, create SFTP, and create SFTP user data directory. I'll use Ansible ad hoc to check if that directory exists with a ls-l d and data. So as you can see, the group exists and it belongs to the SFTP user read write group. The next step will be to configure the SSHD service to work as a SFTP server. So I'll edit again my configuration file, configure SFTP, and here I'll create a file or a task which will edit the SSH configuration file. So I'll name it configure SSHD service for SFTP. Okay, and here I'll do ansible.built-in block in file, and I'll start with the path. So here I'll specify the path which are the file which I want to edit, which will be etc sshd ssh and /sshd.config, and the block which I want to add in that will be, so it will be a block. I will add pipe there to specify that I want to specify a block of text which will be treated as each line as a separate line from the other line, and I'll press enter, and there I will add match group, and here I'll specify the name of the read write user group, and so it will be SFTP group read write name. So I will repeat that for the read only as well. Here read only, and underneath that I will specify a few lines. So here I will have chroot directory. So this will force each user will try to using SFTP to stay in a given directory as the root directory when it's logged in, and not be able to move out of that directory and be able to scroll to my entire server tree. So root directory, and here it will be the directory which I have. So here it will be data / here user. So for each user in the data directory, we will have a folder with the name of that user, which will be the home directory of that user. And the next line will be force command internal SFTP. And for the group read only, here it will be force. So I'll just repeat this one and then delete this one, and that one. As you can see here, I'm writing data 2 times. So instead of having to repeat that here, so on this line and this one, I'll just create another variable which will be SFTP home directory, which will be /data, and I'll go here and specify that directory, SFTP home directory, and I'll go again here and change that with SFTP home directory. So I've created the variable which will contain the name of the root directory of all my SFTP user, and now I can go and execute that. So here I will add state. I've just forgot to add state equal to present, and I want to add this one on a specific part in the SSHD configure file. So I'll just go and show you that module how it works, block in file. So I will go and search for the insert after parameter, insert after. So as you can see, by default, there is it insert the block which is specified at the end of the file. So I want to explicitly type that in my playbook as a configuration. So I'll exit here and I'll go back here and I'll do insert after. So I'll do end of file. So I will know that this one will be put at the end of my file. And that will be all. So every time you edit the SSHD configuration file, you must restart the SSHD service to take effect of the change which you apply. So here I will add an handler. So I'll do notify, restart SSHD. So this one I will specify it here to handler, and the name will be, so name will be restart SSHD service, and it will listen on restart SSHD. So I'll just add here. Here I can specify the name of the handler, or I can specify the keyword on which the handler will be listened on. So here I will just specify the keyword on which it will be listened on. So I'll do set no highlight search. So no, okay. So okay, restart SSHD. I'll add here an underscore, so it seems like a keyword. And here I will add Ansible built-in service. And the name of the service will be SSHD, and the state will be restarted. And that will be all. So restarted. I'll just add a space on after each task, so we have better reading. So okay, I think that's all. And write and exit. And now I will execute that playbook. So I'll do Ansible playbook configure SFTP. So it's configured successfully and the service was restarted. If I do tail or Ansible SFTP and call again another command, tail etc sshd sshd underscore config, you can see we have this block which have been added to my SSH configuration file of the managed node. I'll go and go to the next step. So the next step will be to create the user now. So generally when I'm using playbook and in that playbook I will have to create user, I like to generate hash for password as I will use that password. So here I'll do configure, and here before the handler I will create another task will be named generate user password hash, and the module which I'll use will be OpenSSL. So it will be the shell module, Ansible built-in shell, and this one will allow me to execute the OpenSSL command. So I'll do cmd, which will be OpenSSL passwd-6, and here I'll specify the password. So I will specify a variable which I will create, user SFTP user password or pwd, and I'll go at the top and here I'll create that variable SFTP pwd or user pwd, and the password will be simply like password. Okay. And this one, I will register it so I can have access to it on my playbook or my task which came before that task. So here I'll rename it password. Oh, I'll rename it as hashed password. So I want to show you what will be contained in that register which I'll create. So here I'll do name simple debug, and here I'll use the debug module. So I'll just hit right quickly, and the var which I want to debug is the hash password. So you can see how it look like. I'll recall again my command to execute the playbook. So this all the previous tasks have already been performed, and here it generates the hash, and here you can see the hash is held on the std out property of the variable hashed password. So I'll go now in my playbook and edit again my playbook and start creating my user. So I'll delete this one. So I'll delete that one, and I'll create the task which should create a user which will be in the group read write. So I'll do create. So here I had the name of the user, so I'll create another variable which will be SFTP read write user. So I'll go here and do SFTP read write user. The name of that user I will add Smith, and here it will be SFTP user. So that will be replaced by Smith. Okay, and I will do the same for the read write also. So read write, and here it will be the read write. I will add Robert. So you read only user, which will be Robert, and I think that will be all for now. And now for this user, so the read write user will be the owner of the directory, and the read only user will only have read access on the folder of the user with read write permission. So I'll go and create that user. So I'll do Ansible built-in user, and the name will be SFTP read write user, and this user will belong to will be member of the SFTP read write group. So I'll do groups. Here I will add the group SFTP group read write name. So SFTP read write name, so it's this one. And also I'll specify the name directory or the home directory of that user home. So I've already defined the home directory of all my SFTP users. So it will be here, it will be the username, or here it will be SFTP read write user, and here it will be SFTP home directory. Okay, it's specified here as well. And I forgot to close that one. And the next one will be to not allow this user to access through the shell of my computer. So I'll do here, I'll specify shell equal to sbin no login. So I don't want all users which will use SFTP service to be able to log through SSH on my server. So I'll block that with this one. And also I will specify that I want to the home directory to be created. This on Red Hat by default, when you create a user, the home directory is created, but on other distribution, when you create the home directory, you must specify the -m option for the home directory to be created. So you have to use yes. And I specify the password as well, password which will be equal to the value which we store in this register, this one. So it will be here. So here it will be hashed password std out, and that will be all. And I just want to add another comment. So this one will be also adding the etc password. So to specify that this is the user which I have read write on my SFTP server. So I will add the SFTP user with read write permission. Okay, and I want to add the last one, which should be state. So I'll add this as to underneath the name state will be present. So I'll go and comment this one and execute my playbook. Ansible playbook configure. So all my previous tasks have already succeeded, but the last one, created Smith, it's create the user, and I'll go and create the other task for the user with read write permission. So for this one, I won't create the home directory. I want to use the same directory as the user with read write permission. So for that, I'll go here, just copy this one quickly, this block, copy that and paste it underneath this one. Okay, and here for read write, I'll just select entire block and replace read write with read only. Okay, it's done. And here for the home directory, here it will still read write, as the user with read only permission will not have its home directory. It will only have access to an existing directory for another user. Okay, and create home will be deleted and the shell will be like this. And so name, state, group, command, here command it will be read only. So delete it, read only. The home I've already specified, create home is not there. Or maybe I can just add it and specify false. So go here and specify false. Or no in this case, as I use true. Yes on the other one, here to be no. And execute again my playbook. So there is an error on a name. So I'll go and edit again my playbook. So where is the error which I did actually? Let's fix it. Name SFTP read only. Missing quotes. Where did I forget to add the quotation? So just replace this one with true and the other one with false. Get home, password, SFTP. I'll try to execute it again. Okay. So it is on which line? So SFTP read only user, SFTP. So I had name twice. So it is here. And here I forgot to add the module, which is just to enable relative number. So I can move 11 up, copy that one, and 11 down, pass it there. Okay, now I think it's okay, and I can execute again my playbook. So there is one thing here, as you can see, the user Smith is seem to be created twice, or the playbook is not succeeded, but it generated again. So to avoid that, I will go and here I will add another attribute here, which will be update password only when the user is created on create. I'll repeat this on this one also. As long as the user is already present, that will not say changed. Okay, as you can see, Smith is okay, and only the hash which is keep displaying. I can add another key on that to just disable that, but I will leave it like it is. And the next step will be to add the user to the SFTP. But as a rule of when I configure my SFTP server, I like to specify in the SSH configuration file which user are allowed to access remotely. So I'll just do here quickly, grep allow user in my etc sshd config file. So as you can see here, I have a list of users which are allowed to SSH to my server, and that is the same for all my managed nodes. So I'll do it on another user. So I'll just do Ansible SFTP, and I'll execute the add command and press enter. So you will see on allow user there is a list of users which are allowed, as you can see here. And I want to add also the 2 users which I created to be able to use SSH to my server, because SFTP work beyond SSH server, so it uses the same port. So I'll go here and edit again so I don't execute that. I'll just go and edit it again, edit, and I will add another task which will add my user to that file. So before that, I want to check if the user is present or not. So or maybe I can just show you before I had that change. So I'll add read. So I'll add allow read write user so SFTP read write user to SSH access. So I want to allow the SSH reader user to be able to SSH to my server. And here I'll add the module which I use it with Ansible built-in line in file. And here I'll add regex, which will search for, so it will search for the line which start with allow user. And it will catch everything which came after allow user, so I can use it later on the other line. So here I'll see a backref. This backref allow me to use capturing parentheses on the regex, and here to be true. And the line which I want to add, if that line exists, will be equal to allow users /1 delete that one /1, which will be replaced by everything which will be captured by this opening parenthesis. And after that, I will add the SFTP read write user, and state will be present. And the file in which I want to add those changes is specified as path. So I just add another space here. I must delete that. Okay, since there is one. Okay, now it's fine. And here the path will be etc sshd dot config. Here I'm using the same time, so it seems like I've repeated this line, this entry here. So I've also used it again here where it is here. So instead of having to repeat everything, I'll just copy this one, and here I'll replace with SFTP. I will replace it with SSH config file variable, which I will create just later in a few minutes. Go at the end and paste it here, delete that one, go up and paste it here. So here it will be SFTP SSH config file. Go at the end, everything seems okay. And now if I execute this one, Ansible playbook configure SFTP, so this one will keep show as changed even though there is no change. So actually, if I use Ansible SFTP and I'll just grep allow, so I've already executed that, allow user. So you will see Smith is hard, and if I call again, I execute again my playbook, it will add it again for the second time because I didn't read my SSH config file to know if that user is already added or not. And for that, if I call again this one, I will have to read the SSH configuration file before I can add that line. So as you can see here, the line is added twice. So I'll just go and edit my playbook to add the line which will firstly retrieve the content of that file and check if that user is present before it can be added. So name, so it will be read sshd config file, and here it will be, I'll execute the command shell built-in shell, and here it will be cmd grep. So I'll just only retrieve that line with allow user in etc ssh. So here I'll specify the SFTP config file, SFTP config file, and I will store that as ssh allow users. Okay, and now I will know that this will retrieve the line which I previously get with the ad hoc command which I executed. And now here I have to check if that user is inside of that line before I can add the user to that allow list. So here I'll do when I had when close or when statement, when SFTP read write, yes, read write user not in SSH allow user. So here it will be std out. Okay. So okay, and now if I go now and execute that, so I'll execute it again. I execute my playbook. We have previously only two entry with Smith, like you can see here. If I execute this one, we will still with the 2 entry and not 3. So I'll just wait. The task include an option with an undefined variable, so I'll just go and check which variable is not SFTP read SSH allow user SFTP is which user undefined appear online. So SFTP config file. So okay. Is SSH not SFTP. So I'll just change this one. So it is SSH and where it is here SSH config file, and execute again my playbook. So actually all previous tasks are still executing successfully, and so as you can see it is skipped as we have already the Smith user inside of that file. So just go and edit it again, and here I will add another one for the user with read-only access or read-only privilege. So I'll just copy this one and replace read-write with past it, and I'll select that one. So I'll do SFTP read-write user with SFTP read-only user. That will be okay, and I can execute it and execute it again. This will add the user with read-only permission to my server. And as you know, every time you update the SSH config file, you must restart your server. So I will just go and add another the notify keyword. So I'll just go search for notify. I'll just copy this one and go and pass it underneath this one, and pass it also here. So as the change have already been made, that will not have any effect on my server. I'll just skip that and we'll go on the next step. So as we have already added the two users to my server, to the SSH config file, the next step will be to change the permission or the right of the. So I forgot something. Actually, the user which we create here, the user, this one, must belong to the read. Okay, it's already on the read-only group. So I want to add, if I go here, so I'll just exit and I'll do Ansible playbook or Ansible SFTP. I want to check the permission on the directory which were being created for the user with read-write. So I'll do ls-l data. I want to check if in that we have only one directory for the user with read-write. So that's exact. And that user below that group, that folder belong to the Smith user, and the group auto is Smith, but I don't want it to be on Smith because as it's an SFTP, a folder can be shared. So here I will set it to the group of the user Smith. So I'll go and edit my file. So here I'll add another task which will be named change user SFTP read-write user home directory owner and permission. Okay, so here I will use a define module ansible.built-in file, and here it will be state directory, and the owner will be root, the group will be SFTP group read-write name. Okay, read-write name, and the path will be SFTP home directory, and SFTP user SFTP read write user. So when you are configuring SSH directory, and you are using chroot to redirect user in a specific directory, the folder in which you are redirecting the user must belong to the root user and not to the user. And only subdirectory of that user or that folder can belong to the user. So that's why here I'm changing the owner of the directory. If I exit here, this one I'm changing to root, and here it will be SFTP read write group. Okay, and go here. Okay, it's done. State directory, owner root, group is SFTP group, and I also want to add the mode, so I want all the user to not have any permission on this one, which will be 0755. So I just add this one instead of 0. Maybe I can add it as 0. I will leave it as 5, which is the default permission on file, and I will do the same. No, I will don't do the same. I'll just execute this one. Ansible config playbook. Ansible playbook, I execute the playbook. So here it changed the ownership, and now if I call again this add command, you can see the group, the folder belongs to the root user and to the SFTP user read write group. And now I want to create a folder underneath that, or I will start by adding the read only permission to this directory, to the SFTP group, SFTP user read only group. So for that, I'll go here and add another line, another task. So just copy this one to here. Okay, and here to be directory SFTP. So the directory is the same, and here to be directory. Okay. So the owner is not there. So we will not use as a directory can belong only to one user. I will add permission for this group using ACL. So here it will be POSIX ACL module, and here I'll change the name, which will be grant read only permission on read write folder to SFTP group read only name group. Okay, and ACL, so the path will be equal to this one, so I'll just copy this one and paste it here. Okay, and the group which I want to set ACL for is the SFTP read write, so I'll use it SFTP read write or group read only name. So this one, so the ACL which I'm adding on this directory is for the SFTP group with read only access, and for that I have to specify the entity parameter, and I will do recursively this one, recursive equal to true. And I want also to make this as a default ACL for all file which will be added. This one will be applied to that file instead of having to retype again the set ACL on that set file ACL on that directory. Default will be true, and state will be, so here delete this one, state will be present here, and the type, so this ACL is of type group, so it has targeting group, and The permission which I want to add, which is read only permission, I will add r-x. So if I don't add ix, the user of the SFTP read-only group will not be able to even access that directory. That's why I'm adding x for them to be able to open that directory. So here it is true, not that one that I write, true. And okay, set no highlight search. Okay, I just exit, write and exit again, and I think that will be all. So I'll just show you quickly how the documentation of Ansible ACL module work, or how it is defined. If I go at the end, you can see here, entity is Joe and e-type is user. In my case, I use entity group is the group name, and here the e-type was group, and the permission is specified with the permission keyword default present, and you can go up to read out this each parameter it's defined, and that's okay. And write and exit, and I'll just call this one. Here I will do get to check the current ACL on that directory, get file ACL on / Roberts. So I want to get that. I just want to do this one first. Okay, is not Robert, is Smith. Oh, no, is this one. Okay, Smith. Get FSL, so actually, oh, I'm adding F here. This one, this must not be there. So get file ACL. As you can see, actually there is only one group, which is the default group, which is SFTP read-write user, and the user has full permission on that. And I will execute now my playbook with Ansible configure SFTP playbook. Here, grant read-only permission. There is one thing: unsupported parameter for Ansible ACL module group. Supported parameter include the entity. So there is an error in that one. So go and exit. So it is not group. It is entity. Read-write entity. I just forgot to delete that entity. Okay, now it's fine. And execute it again. So change the grant read only, and now if I call again the get file ACL on that directory, you will see the SFTP read-write group will be added with read permission. As this is added, that means the Smith user will have permission on that directory. And actually, the Smith user cannot be able to add any file in that directory. So I'll just show you. I'll just exit. So just do SFTP Smith at node to local.dev. Password is password. So actually it will not work. I'll just have to, because I updated the etc SSHD config file without restarting the service. So I'll restart it manually, systemctl restart SSHD. Okay, I'll try again and add the password. So broken pipe, that means the user cannot be able to log in. So I'll just go and continue with my configuration. YML. So after that, I will create another directory underneath this one. So the read-write user will have a full permission on that one. And for that, I'll just go and copy this one. Copy this one, go just here and paste it. So here the name of the task will be create read-write user upload. I will name that directory as upload directory for SFTP user or read-write user. And here to be directory, the owner will be the SFTP with read-write user, SFTP read-write user, and the group will be SFTP read-write group, and the path will be this one, and at the end I will add upload. So execute my playbook. Ansible configure playbook. Okay, the directory is created, and now if I try again this one, it's still not working. So I'll just open the server quickly. So I won't open it. I'll just check. I'll do Ansible. I'll execute a ad hoc to check the permission on that directory. SFTP -a get file or ls-l data smith to check if that directory is already created. So it belongs to Smith, and Smith has a full right on that one. And okay. And if I do get ACL on that, so I'll do get file ACL, get file ACL on Smith. You can see the SFTP reader user is already applied. So that's okay. And I'll also add the permission of that user explicitly to the upload. So I'll just, or maybe I won't add that. I'll just have to check why I'm not able to connect to my SFTP now. So SFTP Smith, and the password is password. Send broken pipe close. I'll just check. How can I check that? So I'll just open the server quickly. Is not 2. I'll increase the size, the font size. So I'll go as root. So I'll do tail etc not etc var log secure to check why I'm not able to log in. So okay, so okay, not that one. Open for user if access password for okay. Now log message. So I'll just check it, try again to use SFTP. Just cut inventory. So it is on not do exactly. I'll just first edit the config file to check if I had the password correctly. Password is password. Okay. Try again. Password. Client loop send disconnect broken pipe. So I'll go here and check now. Here you can check. Smith, oh, there is an error on no such file or directory. If I do get hint, pass wd Smith. Okay, that's okay. So why am I getting that? Okay, maybe I'll specify an error here. Oh, I'll check here. It's safety root. Okay, so it seems in the when I set up the ch root, there is an error somewhere here. Where it is here. Okay, it's you and not user. It should be like this. So just write and exit. So I will call again or execute my playbook, which will update my SSH config file and which will fix the error which I actually have and restart the SSHD services, which will allow now the user to be able to log in. Okay, everything should go smoothly. And now if I call again Smith and enter the password, so I'm able to log in, and if I do ls, there is a upload directory. So actually, if I do ls, so in the current directory, I have this free file. I want to upload one of this one. If I do put Ansible cfg, it will not work like I said. By default on the SFTP directory, when we are using root, the directory in which is the home directory of the user is belong to the root user Smith. So for the user, the home directory is this one, but as I'm using root, the directory must belong to the root user only. So as it belongs to the user, the Smith user cannot be able to upload or to put anything in that directory. That's why I had another file in that directory, data Smith. I had this upload file on which the user Smith have full right to put in anything. And now if I go back here and put Ansible, so I'll just put Ansible in the upload. So I'll just do cd in the upload and put Ansible file. So as you can see now, the file has been uploaded. This is with the user with read write permission. And now I'll try to log in with the user with read only permission. So if I go in my config file, playbook, so check the name, which is Robert. So exit and call here again, which is Robert. The password, which is password. So I'm connected. Actually, this one cannot do anything if I do upload with Robert. So put Ansible, it's failed. And if I open in the upload and put Ansible or put another file which is config, so it's not working because that user has only read permission and not the read write permission. So I'll exit and I'll just show you exactly on this server. If I do ls-l on data, so we have this Smith directory which belong to the root user as user and to the SFTP read write user. And on the Smith directory, underneath that we have a upload directory on which the SFTP user have a full right, which will allow the user to upload file in that directory. And we also add get file ACL data. We have specified the ACL to allow member of the SFTP user read only to be able to read content of that directory. So that will be all, and I'll exit this one and go back here. So here we have different, so I'll just exit here and I'll do Ansible playbook list tasks configure SFTP. So we have one task to create the SFTP group with read-only permission and read-write permission. So one task to create a read-write permission. Another task to create a group with read-only permission. And another task, the next task which was to create the directory which will hold all the content for the SFTP server. After that, we set up the SSH services to be able to handle SFTP services or SFTP SFTP requests by now allowing the sub-module or internal SFTP module which came with the SSH service. And after that, we create the user with read-only permission and the user with read-write permission. And after that, we allow that user to be able to do SSH to the server as SFTP run to SSH port, the same port which is 22. And after that, I create the directory which allowed the user to upload the data and the user to be able to read the data of the directory. As you can see, we have a fully functional SFTP server, and you can go and customize that as you want. And if you want to add more user or to create other directory with which belong to a given user, you can just update the playbook and specify that user, and you are not forced to have a user with read-only permission on that directory. So if you specify a user, automatically its home directory will be created and you will have full right on that directory, and the upload that subdirectory of its home directory will be created automatically. So I've covered all you need to know to be able to set up an SFTP server. So it's up to you to customize this one and to go further with the configuration. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified whenever I post a new video and not miss anything.